Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, January 27th, 2016. I am Dave Biddle, and I am joined by the one and only Duane Long. We are exactly 1 week away from signing day, always an exciting time of the year, 1 week away from signing day. Before we hit recruiting, Duane, wide receiver Corey Smith will likely be granted a 6-year of eligibility by the NCAA. It's not official yet. We reached out to Ohio State, but it sounds like Corey Smith will be back for a 6th year. Now, some fans on our board say, why take a kid back for a 6th year? Use that scholarship on a recruit. They can probably help the Buckeyes for the next 4 or 5 years. Where do you come down on that argument, Duane?
Well, when it first started, we started talking about this on the boards a couple of weeks ago, and I was on the side of this that let's just move on. Let's get on with it. He hasn't been that great. But as time has gone on, I've looked at the depth chart, and I usually assemble one right after last game of the year, and the NFL announcements, anybody going early, and I looked at how little experience we got. It's non-existent at split end. We got guys at flanker, we got guys at wingback, but we don't have the anybody, and he can play split end. He has played both split end and flanker here. He's got 25 catches. He's played in a lot of football games. We're so inexperienced. I'm leaning toward it's best that he come back. Give JT one guy who knows what he's doing out there. I don't know if he'll be the guy. Noah Brown will be back from the injury. We've got some real talent there, but just no experience. So I would like to say let's move on, but I think we have to say Corey Smith needs to be back. We need one experienced guy out there. He's a great blocking receiver. He gives everything he's got out there. But I'd really rather move on. I just don't know if we can. I think it's probably best that we bring him back.
I agree. I think it's best to bring him back. I mean, you look at this receiving core, as you mentioned, it's going to be, or would have been so green, so inexperienced, so young. And you look at these guys, and as you mentioned, talented, but all sophomores and freshmen. Paris Campbell, Noah Brown, Torrance Gibson, KJ Hill, Alex Stump, James Clark. I guess James Clark will be a 4th-year junior. Feels like he's still a freshman or sophomore because he hasn't seen the field yet. Austin Mack coming in, Ben Victor coming in. These guys are all young guys, unproven guys. So I think having a guy like Corey Smith will be big, and we'll see. We're waiting final word from Ohio State. We'll let everybody know when we hear that. We're also waiting final word from young Mr. Jordan Fuller. He will announce his intentions on Monday, February 1st, so 2 days before signing day. The 4-star safety from New Jersey has in-house visits from Jim Harbaugh, Brian Kelly, and Urban Meyer tonight. That's got to be pretty nice. Really today and tonight. Harbaugh's coming in early, and Kelly in the middle, and then Meyer, the closer, gets the last crack, which I absolutely love that for the Buckeyes. From asking around, Duane, it's sounding good for the Buckeyes. It's not a lock by any means, but it does sound pretty good that they're going to land the 4-star safety, Jordan Fuller. What are you hearing? How big of a get would this be? Just anything you want to say about Jordan Fuller?
Well, I think we're going to get him, and it's essential that we get him. Dave, we are hurting so bad. We've had so much talk about defensive tackle. We at least have bodies. We don't have the elite guy, the big name guy that he's surely going to step in. But we got football players there. At safety, we've got the two guys that are coming back, Eric Smith off the injury, and Malik Hooker, who could grow into a linebacker by the time spring's over. We don't know. That's it. That's all. They moved Camborough back there. I don't know if any of the guys that we recruited last year who were redshirted, Arnett, he's got size. That's about it. We don't have bodies. We've got to add people back there. You got to start there. You can forget about who's the most talented. First, you got to have bodies, and we just don't have them. I love the guy as an offensive player. I love him, period. But as an offensive player, I'd love to play him on offense. We can't. We've got to get a safety in here. I'm sure that's been explained to him that the odds that he's going to be in the 2 deep as soon as he signs his letter of intent. He could be a guy that starts. We don't know what's going on with Hooker. He looks like one of those guys when you look at his build, his body, he looks like one of those guys that's going to grow into a walkout linebacker. He could do that. We don't know. We'll see this spring. Fuller is essential. He's an enormously talented athlete. I think we're going to get him, and it's essential. It's really a guy we got to have now.
Fuller would make 23 in the class, and I'm hearing Malik Harrison would make 24. Sounds like a foregone conclusion that Malik Harrison from here in Columbus, Walnut Ridge High School, will commit to the Buckeyes. He's still saying on signing day is when he's going to announce, but again, it sounds like a foregone conclusion that Malik Harrison is going to join this team, and he really can play a multitude of positions. I think he's going to end up at outside linebacker. Curious to get your take on that, where you think he's going to end up, and just anything you want to say about Malik Harrison, Duane.
I think he's one of the best-looking players I've seen come out of the City League in about the last 5 years. Great-looking athlete, long, great basketball player. I imagine he's a scholarship. I haven't heard this, but just from listening to people talk about him playing basketball, I have to believe he's has some kind of offers to play basketball. He wants to play offense. I agree. I think he's an outside linebacker. He may be a defensive end, Dave. There's on one of his films, I'm seeing him listed at 6'6", 225. Now, that's a guy that could maybe play linebacker, but it's more likely he's going to grow into a defensive end. On offense, he's either a tight end or an H-back. I don't have any dream that he's going to be a wide receiver. He's going to add 15, 20 pounds in the next couple of years and be an H-back or a tight end, probably more like an H-back. Great-looking athlete. When he's got the ball in his hands, he's a decision maker. He's a physical guy. I think he's a really great addition to this team. I love that we offered him, and that he's gonna. I think he's already in the fold. I think it's already been decided. He just needs to do his hat dance, and I don't know why they need to do that, but he needs to make his announcement. Let him make his announcement. It's his announcement. That's not that big a deal. We can wait. I'm relatively certain he's in. And I think he's a good get. I really do. A lot of people are talking about he's a City League guys, have not been, real good to us. But I think this one's going to be different. I think this is a guy that can help this football team.
Very well said. And I agree about his announcement, too. He really had no idea where he was going up until a couple weeks ago because he wasn't sure what Ohio State was going to do, really probably up until a week ago. Now, he wanted to be a Buckeye. Then it sounded like maybe he was going to go to Michigan State because Ohio State didn't have room for him. You get this close to the announcement, man, have your day in the sun. Have your press conference at your school. Do the hat dance, even though, some of us already kind of know where he's going to go. Have fun, Malik Harrison. Have fun. Have your day in the sun, man. Another man that's going to have his day in the sun is Jamar King, all 26 years old. Jamar King, he's going to decide on signing day as well, probably between Ohio State and Alabama. I don't have a great feeling about this one, but who knows? Ohio State definitely needs another defensive tackle, to say the least, in this class. Be nice to get Jamar King. If I had to bet, I think he's going to go to Alabama, but it sounds like Alabama's kind of slow playing him a little bit. Duane, what are you hearing about Jamar King?
Well, I'm hearing the same exact thing, that they've got a couple of guys higher on their pecking order, and the fact is you'd rather have a high school guy than a guy coming out of junior college. You got longer to work with him. And a lot of times junior college guys do not have the discipline, everything you're looking for to develop a really outstanding college football player. This is a grown-up man, though, 26 years old, as you said. If we can get him in here, I love this film. He mostly played defensive end, but he's going to slide down to tackle once he really gets in a solid weightlifting program. I would love to have him. His age is actually an asset considering what we need. We need somebody that's mature, physically mature, ready to step in and play. So I'd love to add Jamar King. I was impressed with this film. I think that if people had known about him sooner, he would have been ranked higher in the junior college listings. Explosive athlete, speed, offense speed, he can run down the quarterbacks, run down backs. Love to have him. I don't know what he's going to do. I thought that if Ohio State had actually shored this offer up, and I think they have, that he would go ahead and commit. But that hasn't happened. We'll see. Maybe he is waiting on Alabama. That's not what I had heard, but now it looks like that's what's happening, is he's waiting to see what Alabama's going to do. We don't know. We're not sure. Love to have him, and maybe we'll get a signing day bonus.
That would be very nice. And last topic before I let you go here, there's been a lot of talk on the boards about what's going on at Michigan as far as Jim Harbaugh pulling scholarship offers at the proverbial last minute. Now, with the Eric Swenson situation, this was a kid that Michigan, he was offered a scholarship like over 2 years ago by Brady Hoke. Harbaugh comes in, says, invites him to camp. The kid doesn't come to camp, kind of feels entitled. I don't have a problem with that at all. The kid gets his offer pulled. You're not willing to even come to camp and earn your offer. Tough luck. Then again, you have a kid like Rashad Weaver, who actually earned an offer at camp from Harbaugh. It wasn't like he was offered by the previous regime. He was offered by Harbaugh at a camp, one of those satellite camps in Florida, and he gets his offer pulled, less than 2 weeks from signing day. So I do have a problem with that. Curious to get your take. Do you have a problem with any of this? Is this just part of big boy football? Your take on what's going on up at Michigan?
Well, that is my opinion, Dave. I think it's the reality of the situation. It is big boy football. But when you go to the extremes, how many has he done this with now? It's getting to the point where, I think it should be a thing it's just part of it. But I also believe that if we're going to do this with recruits, I've said before that I believe that, we're talking about grown men here. If I think schools should be allowed to drop a certain amount of players every year, maybe 5, I don't know, and we can determine a number at a later date, players that are already on the roster, and say, look, we'll continue to pay your education, but we don't want you counting against our 85 limit, and you're no longer part of the football program, but we promised you an education, and we're going to give you that. If you want to transfer, you can transfer. Then they can't, I would say they can't use the 1-year rule. They can play automatically if the school drops them like that. But as far as recruits are concerned, I think if you're going to do this, if you're going to back out on recruits, I think we absolutely need to have a early signing period then. So we won't have schools leaving these guys in the lurch at this late date. And Harbaugh's doing, I don't know how many kids he's done this to in the last couple of weeks. So I think it could hurt them. It could hurt them, just the sheer number. Cannot be argued. It's not like you can say, well, this guy, come up with some reason why a guy or two, maybe 3, 5, 6, 7 guys he's done this to. It could come back to haunt him at a later date. Because I know that if my son was talking about Michigan, which would never happen, it would still be a matter of, this guy could, we don't know what this guy's going to do. So we'll see if the strategy backfires on him over the next few classes. I think it could.
Excellent insights, as always, out of Duane Long. Thank you very much, Duane. And thanks to the listeners out there. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show, and I hope you have a great day. Take it away, best damn band in the land.